Welcome. I am the one and only MSJ, Max for short, and welcome to my YouTube channel. NERDvember is still going strong with this week's theme, which is video games in movies. Where I'm not going to be talking about movies that got turned into video games or video games got turned into movies. I'm talking about where video games are the central aspect of the movie itself, like today's movie, which is Ready Player One. Here's a couple other hints made for may or not be the movies coming up this week. You are an ex-con and have to win a certain amount of games, but you're being controlled by this kid, or nuclear codes that are being held within a Atari cartridge, or a bunch of your gaming friends go to a gaming tournament to win some money and whatever. Some of those movies will be on my list this week, but I'll let you decide on which ones. Leave a comment down below, because I'm about to ask you to please do that. Leave a comment down below on what you think those movies will be, what the movies are, or what days I'm going to be doing those on, or what's your favorite scene from this movie, Ready Player One. I just want to hear what you have to say. Leave a like, leave a comment, and share, because it helps me stay notified when my videos go live, and helps me get my channel and videos out there to a much broader audience. Like I mentioned, today's movie is all about video games, and this is a big one, Ready Player One. This is a comfort movie for me. It really is. I love Ready Player One. This is a 5-star. It's not a perfect movie, but it is a 5-star film for me. It is a classic to me, okay? Because like I mentioned, it's a comfort movie. I've had many of days where I've come home from work and just felt overwhelmed, or where I just don't feel like I did a very good job, or that I'm just not particularly high on myself that day, or just like making myself feel worse just because I'm like, just a lot of things, and even some deaths in the family. I've relied on this movie, and just to kind of like lay in bed or sit in my chair down here in the basement and just watch this movie, because this movie does a really good job of just shutting off that part of the brain where your mind likes to meander, but it also reactivates another part of the brain where it's like, oh, I remember playing that game, or that movie scares the crap out of me, and stuff like that. And that's what I love about this particular movie. It's directed by Steven Spielberg. It's about this virtual reality world called the Oasis, and there's this game being played within it where the creator of it has died, and he's made these 3 keys, and the 3 keys open a door, and it's whoever opens the door, or after collecting all the keys, gets to control the Oasis and its mass fortune that he has gotten from creating all this. So, and after like several years, no one has really kind of like made any progress except for the first gate, because you have to go through a gate to get to the key, and the key reveals the next clue, and so forth, and repeats itself until the game is over. It's 3 of them, 3 gates, 3 keys. So, in 3 different challenges, and the first challenge is this really awesome race. Okay, his buddy H is in a Bigfoot monster truck. He's in the DeLorean. You'll see the 66 Batman, the Batmobile. Who else you'll see? One of the characters is driving the bike from Akira. What else is in there? There's just so many nostalgia vehicles in this first sequence in the whole movie, and the music is great. Because opens up with Van Halen that has some Joan Jett, then it goes into other staple 80s songs, but that first challenge is like, if it doesn't hook you from there, then you're not gonna be hooked for the rest of the movie. But that first sequence in the movie is just wow. It's intense. And this is directed by Steven Spielberg, like I've already mentioned. But the T-Rex from Jurassic Park shows up. King Kong is in that first sequence, and he's driving DeLorean. It's all within that first 10 minutes of the movie, and it's so good. And I just love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And I love the book as well. I don't reread books very often, but I've reread Ready Player One, the book, like 3 times. And that's a lot for me. I usually read a book and it's done, and I keep it on my shelf. Like, that's my trophy. That's what I've completed that book. You're staying up there. I don't like to get rid of books, but sometimes I like to just pull a book off the shelf every once in a while and reread it. And Ready Player One has been pulled off the shelf a few times. So this world means a lot to me. And the final sequence in the movie is fantastic. It's all this like nostalgic, like awesome, like your fan favorite stuff all rolled into one, where you see the Battletoads going in the battle with next to Duke Nukem, or Gundam fighting Mechagodzilla, while the Iron Giant is just going around wrecking havoc on other machines and everything. And it's just so cool. And when I found out this movie was going to be turned in, or this book was going to be turned into a movie, it's like, how are they going to do it? This movie, there's just so much licensing to be done, you know, like where are they going to get all the properties? Like, I know Warner Brothers, which is who made this movie, owns quite a bit, like Batman and Ninja Turtles and stuff like that, I think. So those are givens. But like, I'm trying to think, like, how do they get some other properties? Like, I think Steven Spielberg's name helped quite a bit. So just, you gotta pay attention. This movie has a lot of, to this day I'm still finding new stuff within this movie, and it's just so cool. Like, it's a very great comfort movie, and that's what why I really wanted to talk about this movie. Like I've already mentioned, this movie helps me shut the world off and just watch. I really remember this particular moment. I was watching this movie for like the 5,000th time, you know, and Van Halen comes up on the screen, or the song comes up on the screen on the movie, and my wife is like, "Are you watching Ready Player One?" And I'm like, "Yeah." You know, she knows me. So it's just fun, and it's very iconic. And it's just, if you don't, I can understand if you don't like the movie because of the book, because there was aspects of the book that I really thought was really cool. Because our main character, he's kind of he's in the book, he's chubby, you know, he's kind of he's lazy and stuff like that. But I wish that kind of transferred over to the movie a little bit, to kind of show that he kind of did have some progression throughout the progressing within the movie. And I really also liked the whole him being, it plays a bigger part in the book, where he can't travel to these other places. Like in the movie, you can just travel freely. You don't have to pay to go to places, and he can never really go to other places. He's stuck on the free zone, which is the school zone, and which is pretty cool because that's where the first gate lies in the book, on the school property. And it's kind of like a Dungeons and Dragons kind of map, and I like that. And I wish that something like that would happen in this movie. And even the first challenge in the movie, I do have some problems with. Like, if you know, if you're in a racetrack, someone's bound to go in reverse, okay? I don't care who you are or what's going to happen. somebody would go in reverse. And I just, and the amount of time that the gate had been open, no one has tried that. It's kind of it's just a very small problem until you really think about it. It kind of bugs me a little bit, but every time I watch it, but it goes, that particular thought goes away fairly quickly once the movie keeps going, or once a Gundam was fighting Mechagodzilla while throwing one of those little mad balls, or Chucky going around killing people, it's like as like a kill streak kind of thing. It's like, yeah, like whatever problems I had with this movie are gone. So yeah, there are this movie is kind of split between the real world and the Oasis. So there's a big most of this movie is in the Oasis and it is animated and CGI. But I do like when they do go into the real world and you actually get to kind of interact with these the real people, like the flesh and blood characters rather than the ones and zeros, So in the Oasis. So that's really all I have to say about Ready Player One. I kind of lost of words. You can tell I'm kind of stumbling here in a little bit here and there because this movie does, and I just want to talk about this movie in some fashion. So yeah, so if you have not seen this movie, check it out. I highly recommend it. It's so much fun. It's a good movie to watch, and it's a Spielberg movie, so he definitely aims it at kids and stuff. And there's some really cool stuff that within the movie that, like, if we don't keep things in check, it could happen. So yeah, that is all. I am the one and only MSJ, Max for short, and all I can really say is thank you.